try to invite Adelyn. Hello.
Hi! This actually worked.
I know, I'm so excited. I really didn't think I was going to be able to do it on Instagram. I was like,
Yeah.
that ship has sailed. That's never happening. I think it was a weird God thing, honestly.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
Yep.
how are you?
Good. I think I still have a voice. My daughter, like, of course, tonight of all nights, she was like doing really well with bedtime, and I was like, "Hey, I was like, you get extra book time, and she's doing really great with bedtime." And so I was like waiting for her to get sleepy. So I read her like an entire chapter, like a little like Magic School Bus chapter book, like the whole thing. She wouldn't go to sleep, and I was like, I'm not gonna have any voice in like 2 minutes. I was like,
Uh,
goodness.
she must know that Mama had to be somewhere.
Yeah. She's like,
My
Mom,
little one's upstairs with my husband, and he's
oh,
like, I'm going to keep her in the bedroom. I'll keep the door shut. I was like,
there you
okay,
go.
thank you.
Yeah, it was like 8:30. Usually everyone is totally in bed asleep by 8. And so I was like, we should be good. Or if
Man,
not asleep,
I need to get
in
better
bed.
at that. That's not how things work around here.
Yeah, it's like one of those things that I was like, I need my evening. I was like, I
Oh,
need more
yeah.
time. So it's like hard and fast. Like, I'm like, okay, at 8 o'clock, I'm done singing. You gotta lay in bed and go to
Yeah.
bed. I'm like,
Honestly, I need to do that because it's not working right now. It's just not. Feels
yeah,
like,
I'm like,
yeah.
that's always like my thing. I'm like, because the girls, I mean, they get up early in the morning. So I'm like, I want 2 hours to myself before I go to bed because I'm not a night owl. Like I'm in bed pretty much falling asleep by 10. So I'm like, I need me time at the end of the day to check out, to clock out, or to like do some writing or author work or something like that. And so I was like, it's just from the get-go. I've just been like, I'm like, nope, bed, go to bed.
Ugh, that's admirable.
Thanks. Thanks. Yeah, it's for my sanity. I was gonna
Yes.
say.
Honestly, I feel like I'm going crazy. So like there has to be something that changes here soon because I feel like I'm getting up early and going to bed late,
Yeah.
and it's too much.
Yeah, I've been trying to do like the early morning thing, and I'm just too tired. So I'm like, I think I'm just gonna be switching to being a nighttime writer. And I'm like, how is this gonna work? But we'll see. Because like I'm usually like brain dead at the end of the day, but now I'm so tired in the morning. I'm like, wake up and I'm like, what are words? What are sentences? I'm like,
That makes authoring hard.
yeah. Yeah, I'm like, I just edited a book. How did I already forget how commas work again? And I'm like, you know, like I will happily pay someone to figure out where all the commas go in my book. I'm
Oh,
like,
yes.
I don't
I
know.
literally just hired an editor, so I'm excited because my first book, I didn't have an editor. I just passed it around to a bunch of teacher friends.
There you go. Yeah.
And it worked.
Yeah.
It worked, but so I feel like a big girl now that I actually hired an editor.
Nice. You are. Good job.
Thank you. Okay, so it looks like we have a few people that
Hey,
have
hi.
already joined. Hello, thank you for
Hello.
being
I'm
here.
here.
Um, okay, so this is the very first Blackwood book chat. Um, my hope for this is for this to be a space for indie authors to communicate with one another, but also for, um, ooh, my website people are here. Cool. Hello. Um, but also to have a space for new readers to find our books
Yeah.
because sometimes it can be really hard getting our books in front of an audience. So that's what I'm hoping that this is. So for our very first Blackwood book chat, I am very happy to introduce Adelyn Belsterling. I said that right, right?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. I've been practicing, but I didn't know if I was practicing the right one.
You're fine.
Okay,
You're
good.
fine.
So she is the author of Starlight, Starbright. She also has another book, I Wish I May. Um, I said that right too, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So look how beautiful Starlight, Starbright is.
There.
She's stunning. So just so everybody knows, we do have a giveaway happening. So if you do after this live on my profile, if you go to the pinned post on my Instagram, Courtney Ann Johnson Writes, um, and you go through the carousel, the very last slide on there tells you how to be entered to win. So make sure that you check that out after
Yay!
this.
Oh, you're reading I Wish
Oh,
I May
very
right now?
good.
Awesome. Yep, book one. I yeah. I
Okay,
was gonna
so
say, yep,
do
go
you
ahead.
want to let me see here. Okay. So tell us about yourself, your books and what you create. If I don't know if you want to get right into this book or up to you.
Sure. So I'm Adelyn Belsterling. I write fantasy for teens and anyone who's really young at heart and loves the blush of first romance. So my first book that I published was I Wish I May. I published that in 2024. And then as I was working on what I thought would be book two, I thought I was like, okay, I was starting to get into some really rambling backstory for book two after I wish which would happen chronologically after I Wish I May. And then I was like, this would make a really good novel, this backstory. And I was like, I I tend to read things, I write chronologically. I do not write out of order. And so I was like, I really should write a prequel. And I was like, I hate myself for doing this, but publishing a prequel second, I was like, this backstory would make a great prequel. And so I was like, I'm going to write the prequel to I Wish I May. And I was like, why would I do this to myself? I have to read books. If people write a prequel, I will read it before book one because that's just the way my brain works. And so I wrote Starlight Starbright as a prequel to I Wish I May, but it can be read first in the series because I was like, I have to be able to pick up the prequel before the first book and read it chronologically. So it's technically book two, but it's a prequel sequel, is what I call it.
Oh
So
my goodness.
yeah. um, yeah. What else do we want to know? Okay, just about me, my books, and the other creative work.
Yes.
Okay, so I am a author, and then as I was starting out the idea of indie publishing, I was like, okay, I need character art, and I was like, my budget for this is like, the bare minimum. I could
Zero.
afford. I could afford zero. I set aside. I talked to my husband. I was like, hey, are we good if I spend like $1,500 on the editing of this book and the setting up of the business? And I think grand total, I think for my debut, I think I spent close to 2,500, including like all of the ISBNs and the whole startup of the whole author business. um but so I was like, I have no money for character art and fantasy. Just when you're marketing a YA fantasy, like people expect character art.
Yes.
Um, and so I was like, oh, I'm gonna get an iPad and learn how to draw. Because I was like, I did a lot of art and stuff in high school, and I was like, I could do this. And it was fun. I taught myself. Oh,
So really quickly, this is actually how we met.
yes.
Because Adeline was drawing on her iPad at an event,
Yeah.
and I was just walking through. It was kind of a quiet event,
It was very
so it was
okay.
probably like if it wasn't quiet, we might not have like had a chance to talk. So like I am
Yes.
happy that we got to meet, but that event was pretty quiet. But I was walking through and I just saw her drawing and I was like, oh my goodness, who is
Yeah.
this woman? I must know her. So I was like creeping kind of
Yeah.
hard. And
Yeah. And
then I was like, I'm going to talk to her. And then,
yeah.
yeah.
And I was working on, well, the event was dead, and it was pretty much okay. Like, of the people that came through like this event, I think half of them were Courtney's friends and family. so, so I was like, I need to make use of my time. I drove 3 hours to get here. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna work on the art for
Yes,
Starlight
gorgeous.
Saturday, like while I'm here doing like just chilling at my table. I was like, I'm gonna work on the art while I'm here. So that's how we met.
You're not wrong about that. Most of them, yes, were my friends and family.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like sitting there at the front of the room, like so hopeful, like, yay, people are here. And then they would just like beeline it back to your table. I was like, oh, they're just here recording.
I was like, Mom!
Yeah. But no, it was great. They were all super friendly and like went to all
Yes.
the authors and were like, hey, tell me about your book. And they were super friendly. But yeah.
And my mommy bought me your book. I was real
Oh,
happy
yes.
about
Yes,
that.
that's right. Yes. And then you bought a copy for your classroom.
Yes, I did.
Yes. And I was like,
Which I really did. I had kids like kind of like meet, not like mean to each other, but like kind of like they
yeah, they were like,
wanted,
it's mine.
yeah. They were like, I'm in line to read that next. You can't read that yet. I was
That's
like,
awesome.
okay.
That makes me so
Okay.
happy. Um,
Honestly, like people seriously like they're I feel like that's why I asked you to be my very first author on this because like you just like you're just so kind for one, but
oh,
also
thank you.
so creative. Like just I don't know. Like I don't know how. I mean, I know aren't these like fairy tale like retellings?
Yes. Yeah, they're fairy tale retellings, but they're contemporary. So like I was thinking like when I was writing the first one, I was thinking like Ella Enchanted meets Kiki's Delivery Service. So like Studio Ghibli, slow moving, character driven stories that like I was thinking, I originally wrote the story, I think I was about 24 or 25 when I wrote it, and then I rewrote it and reworked it and did a ton of work on it. And so it looks nothing like it did when I first wrote it. But I was like, I really wanted to write a YA book that I would have loved as a teenager because I was such a sweet, innocent teen, and I really didn't like I started to not really I could just tell like that the YA genre was starting to move in a direction where it was that the adults were the driving force
Yeah.
of who was buying YA books. And so the YA books were becoming so much more adult driven. And I was like, when I was little, I really wish I would have had more of that, like, because I was really interested in romance. I really wish there had been more sort of sweeter romances in the YA genre that I could have had.
Yeah.
Like when I was a teenager, there wasn't YA. So when I wanted romance, like I went onto my mom's bookshelf and probably got things I probably shouldn't have read at that age. And I was like, okay. And so I was like, I really want there to be YA that's written really for a YA audience that does start as young as 14. So like girls who are maybe, mature enough to watch Gilmore Girls or read books that are actually interested in romance, but aren't going to come into that like hot and heavy stuff that is so popular right now in
Yes.
YA. So yes, generally super sweet, innocent romance, but heart flutterings, blushing and all that kind of fun stuff.
Yes. I
So
do feel like extremely comfortable like whenever they're like cuz I teach like 12, 13-year olds and I do feel very comfortable recommending your books. Like I
hmm,
just like you are an author that I just trust that I'm just like here you go. Like
thanks.
have at
Appreciate
it.
it. Yes.
Okay, what made you want to become an author?
Um, well, I I wrote um I wrote a few books and just kind of to see like, hey, can I finish a book? Can I write a book? I have all these ideas rattling around my head and I was like, all right, let's see, can I write a book? And I started writing a book and never finished that book. And then I wrote the next book and finished that one. And then started writing I Wish I May. And I shared my books on a website called Figment, which was around a long time ago, like 2012, 2013, 2014, and kind of around 2014 or 15, I think I started writing on Wattpad, if you're familiar with Wattpad.
Yes.
So, yeah, Wattpad. So I was a Wattpad writer for a while. And people loved I Wish I May. And a ton of people found me on Wattpad and they're like, I want, a physical copy of this book. Like I want this book on my shelves. And I was like, oh, maybe like it's worth it. And like, I was partnered with Wattpad as like a Wattpad star, which is where they kind of sign you on and try to sell your books and stuff.
What?
Yeah, it was really cool. So I had they pitched I Wish I May out to tons of publishers and stuff, and I know they were submitting it to a lot of places, but no one ever bought or no one ever nibbled at it or whatever. So
It's still
I
cool though.
yeah, it was cool. And so it was kind of a vote of confidence. And I was like, okay, it was usually that they were submitting like my story with like a whole bunch of others. So they would like get like, I don't know, like a TV network in France would be like, we want all your historical fantasies or something like that. Or they'd be like, we want all your contemporary fantasy, for example. And so they would find a whole bunch of from their pool of Wattpad stars, they would find like all the stories that would fit the brief that whatever company was looking for. And so they'd submit them all. And so it wasn't like they were individually pitching me like an agent would. So I was like, I don't think anything's going to come of this. And then, it just, nothing ever panned out there. And so I tried querying to traditionally publish, and I was querying in 2020 I Wish I May, which is a very sweet, cozy fantasy. It was before the cozy fantasy genre ever came about. So I had so much trouble trying to get an agent to be like, what is this genre? It's contemporary, it's fantasy. They were like, this feels a little middle grade. Like they didn't want to put it in YA because it was so innocent and happy and cozy and fluffy. And they were like, so agents were like, we don't know what to do with this. And so I was like, well, you know what? I believe in this story. I want to self-publish it. So I went forward self-publishing it just because I just really loved the chance to just put the physical book in readers' hands. And I, selfishly wanted my own physical copy too. And I was like, I put all this work into it to
I'm like,
query it. I was
I'm
like,
gonna
why
go
don't I
get
publish it?
mine. I'm gonna go get my physical copy real quick and show
Okay.
everybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
This is I Wish I May. Like it is gorgeous. Like
Thank
self
you.
like you did all of this like yourself. Did you do your cover?
Yes, I did.
That I'm stunned. Like
Thank you. Oh, wait, let me show you the original cover because
yes,
there was an
please.
original cover. There was an original cover,
Oh
which
my
I thought
goodness.
I took all my cues from um I took all my cues from just YA fantasy from the traditional market. And then I learned that's the really bad thing to do because traditional publishers make bad covers. And
Yes,
like
they do.
they do.
Yes.
And in that they're beautiful, but they don't tell you anything about the book. And when you're trying to stand out on Amazon or in person, like this was the original cover. I drew this. Um, and it's very pretty. It's very pretty, but it doesn't really say as much about the book as this cover does. And this one I found really draws people in at
Oh
events,
yeah. Yeah.
and it just says more, like it's got the cell phone with the hearts on it and like the
Mhm.
Cinderella vibes, and like someone said like this looks like Barbie here on the front cover, and I was like,
Honestly, yes.
yes.
So like whenever I first came into the event and I was like finally like looking around to kind of shop because we had so
Mhm.
much time. um your cover was like the very first book
Well,
that I
thank
even
you.
noticed. And then like your beautiful table setup and everything. Like I
Thanks.
love how you set up your tables.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm very artistic and
You're very
creative.
artistic and aesthetic and I love everything.
That's my thing. I wish I was also as
Look
geared
how
towards
pretty they look together
thank
too.
you. Yeah, I wish I was better at the business and organizing side of things, and I could enjoy looking at spreadsheets of of sales and all those numbers. I'm like, no, thank you.
That doesn't sound happy to me.
No,
That
it's
sounds like
not.
something that you'll be able to eventually hire someone to do, or maybe your husband can do for you.
That would be great.
That
Yes.
sounds like a husband job to me.
Yes, he's definitely like my business coach. Like I'll be like, yeah, I'm just gonna give this person a book for free. He's like, no, don't do that. Like not like I was like,
I think.
he's like, you need to be charging more for your book. You need to do this. Like he's like he's a good business coach. He comes from like he has a business background, so and
Oh,
marketing
that's
too. So
good.
he's like when I'm being too friendly and like, like, oh whatever, like I'm just gonna, charge whatever. He's like, no, 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 you need to get what you're worth. And I'm like, okay, okay.
That's so
He's
good though. It
um
was very good.
yeah, what was I saying? I don't remember. But yeah, we were talking about the old cover, and then I was like, I don't remember.
I don't
Anyway,
remember either.
yeah.
Well, we're good at this.
Yes.
Okay, so will you tell us specifically about Starlight
Yeah.
Starbright? What
Yeah,
can
this
readers
is why we're
expect?
here. Okay, so this one, my first book was very heartfelt and serious. This one's funny and chaotic, but heartfelt too. So I have a reader friend and she wrote this hilarious book, which I'm gonna recommend because it's right here on my shelf. It's called this is one of my writing besties. Her name is Elizabeth Amy Brown, and she wrote What Comes of Attending the Commoner's Ball. And this is a cozy fantasy too. So we're kind of in the same genre, but this is like a Regency. And so she was one of my early critique partners for Starlight Starbright, and she is hilarious. Like she like this book made me laugh so much. And so what I
What's her
did
last name? Sorry.
Elizabeth Amy Brown, What Comes
Amy
of
Brown.
Attending the Commoner's Ball. This is a must read. I read it, we published around the same time, and so we were like, our books are sisters, like they're sister books because they're both like funny and magical, but also have a dose of realism. And so we were like, so when I was writing Starlight Starbright, I was writing for her. And so I was writing this book with an audience of two. I was writing to two of my writing friends, but one of them was Elizabeth Amy Brown. And I was like, every chapter, I was like, okay, my one my one critique partner always wanted like deep emotion. She's like, what are they feeling? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm scared of emotion. And so I would always like layer in emotions for her. And then Elizabeth Amy Brown, I was like, what would make her laugh? Like, what would be funny? And so, like, I was like, if this book is funny, it's because I was writing for her as my audience. And I was like, I told her this. I was like, I wrote this book mainly with you and like one other person in my mind. And I was like, will these two people like it? And so I was like, honestly, having that narrow focus of who my reader is, it's someone who likes to laugh, someone who wants to be moved emotionally. Like that's what like how I wrote that book. And it turned out so well in at least in my mind, having that specific audience in mind. So
Yes,
that
I feel like trying to appeal to the masses is like
yeah. No.
never how it's not going to work. So I think that
Yes.
sounds perfect.
Yeah.
I haven't finished it yet because
Okay.
I started this one and
Hmm.
then I was like, "Oh no, I think I was supposed to read this one first."
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I got confused. So I started reading this one and then I'm
Hmm.
going to go back to the other one.
Oh yeah, do that. Yeah. I honestly I like recommend people read Starlight Starbright first. I'm like
Okay.
it'll set you I was like or I don't know. It's two different reading experiences. Like I've had one person who like read I Wish I May and now they're reading Starlight Starbright and I'm like, "Oh, you're going to cry at the end of Starlight Starbright." Like if you know the fools like if you know everything that happens in I Wish I May, like you might cry at the end of Starlight Starbright, but like
Okay, so if you want to cry,
if you
it's
want to cry,
this and this.
then
But
this.
if you don't want to
If you
cry, it's this and this.
if you want to read this one first, the ending of this one's going to hit heavier. Like you
Oh.
might cry at the end of this one. I'm like, I don't know. Because like I'm set both of them are like an intertwining setup for book 3 because like it was all like part of like they're very much standalones. They're different main characters and I'll have a different main character in book 3, but there's two plot lines in here that intertwine for book 3 and like the emotion I was like the emotional layering I'm already doing for book 3. I'm like I might like myself like make myself cry. I've never made
so
myself cry by writing, but I was like book 3 might make me cry.
so wait, when's book 3 coming out? Do we know?
A long while.
Okay.
I'm working on another book right now and it's not related to this at all. And so I'm like, book 3 is going to be a long way down the road. I'm starting homeschooling with my daughter this fall
Oh,
and
okay.
my kids are just so young, and I'm like,
Oh yeah.
I'm just gonna take some extended time off of publishing new books. I'm not gonna stop writing, but like the actual publishing, I'll probably get back to it in a couple of years, 2 or 3 years. I'm thinking, just so I can enjoy this like
Yes,
season while they're young,
being present. Yes.
being present, which is so hard.
Hmm.
But yeah, and there's just so many demands on my attention right now, but this season goes by so fast. And like that's what every one of my friends who like have young kids, they're business women, they're entrepreneurs, they're like, you know what, I took like just like 5 years, 3 years, 5 years, just took time off when my kids were like at their littlest because they're like, it's so much on top of like the demands of having littles, like doing like all the business stuff too. Because it's not
Yeah.
just the creative, fun writing stuff. It's like, you know, getting up in the morning at 5:30 and having to enter your sales tax in, because I sell a lot in person. I was like, oh, I have to file all my sales tax. Which
Yeah.
I was late by a month and the penalty was only 45 cents, which is okay. I was happy about. I think they're just happy if the state of Ohio is happy. If you willingly give them money, they don't usually penalize you for it. Yeah,
Well,
so
that's good to know.
yeah. Um, but yeah. But yeah, Starlight, Starbright, you can pick it up and just jump into the series. It's super fun, super chaotic. It's a about a fairy godmother who's trying to set up the annoying prince next door with her best friend who's a troll, and she accidentally catches feelings and despite her best intentions ends up being cursed and turned into a swan. So that's my pitch for Starlight, Starbright. Um,
So I'm to the point where I just met the troll.
oh nice. Dilly. Dilly. I just did some artwork of Dilly. It's on my page. I posted it recently, but I was like, can I actually draw like a fantasy race? Like a fantasy, like a girl with fangs? Because I like describe her, she's a beautiful troll. Um, but you know, I was like, can I make her beautiful and also like give her fangs and an underbite? And I was like, I think I did it. But it was funny. So I was like parsing through my ARC reviews. Like I don't read them in the sense that I'm like, I take it seriously. Like, oh no, someone gave it like 2 stars or 1 star. I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna cry. But it was like I kind of parsed through them to find like some positive feedback so I can use it in marketing. So I was reading through my ARC reviews and someone was like, I hate Dilly. I want to slap her in the face. I was like, whoa. I was like, okay, mission accomplished if they felt so strongly about this character. But but
Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
like her relationship with her best friend who's a troll. I mean, it's very complicated. I like drew on all those like complicated female friendships I had, when I was growing up in high school, like, all the cattiness and
Oh yeah.
all that kind of stuff. So I was like, oh, I did not base her off of a real person. Let's just put it that way. But how complicated friendship gets when you're a teenager, and
Hmm.
I was like, I kind of comped it to Wicked. Like they're kind of like Glinda and Elphaba in that like they're best friends, but also sometimes they're at odds with each other on how things
Hmm.
should be accomplished. So yeah.
I'm just thinking of all the going back to middle school and all those
Oh goodness.
fun
I know you're.
friendships.
You probably see it in your classroom a lot.
Like every day is like a different,
Mhm.
you just never know. Um,
Yeah.
oh, question.
Yes.
What's your writing process? Are you a plotter, a pantser, somewhere in between?
I'm a plotter, but I also edit as I go. So sometimes the pantser takes over if something's not working. So I kind of edit as I go, just so, I have a plot set out. I have a roadmap, and it's generally kind of a bare bones outline. I don't outline everything like down to each conversation. So sometimes I'll like think of as I'm writing, some people call it headlights writing. So where you can just see like the next 3 steps ahead. So I kind of have like, like MapQuest directions printed out is my as
Okay.
my outline, And so like I kind of know where I want to go. I know where the ending is. That usually doesn't change. But I will, as I'm going, certain things will come up, and so I have I have a plan, but I always build in flexibility because after I write something, I'll go back and reread it and edit it. And then so like sometimes that means if something's not working, I'll go back a couple chapters and edit a couple chapters and see where does this need to go, what's broken, what's not working. And so it does take me a little bit longer to draft than some people because I am editing as I go, but that does mean like my final draft is usually pretty clean in terms of like where I want it to go. And then, line edits and proofreading, um, stuff like that tends to go a lot quicker, have a fewer fewer changes to make towards the end, which is fine. So it just depends on what you want to do. If you want to go fast, go quick, and just make a whole mess and throw it all in the sandbox sort of thing, and then make the sandcastle. Like I'm very,
Yeah.
very much, but like I said, like my chronological brain, like I have to have each step, each chapter where I want it before I move on to the next thing. So like, you know, it, it's that very chronological brain that has to see things in order. I can't just like pop into one chapter, like go
Yeah.
back and add things. So it's
See, that's how for book one, that's what I did. I was very chronological with it and I was very like
Mhm.
edit as I go. Book two, I was like, well, since I'm so new at this, I'm just gonna try something different.
That's
Cause like
great.
I heard people say like you can't edit something that's not there. So they
Yeah,
were like, just make the messiest rough draft you possibly can. So I was like, okay, let's do this.
do
So
it.
now I'm going through and I'm doing revisions and I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Hey,
it is a lot
yeah, I mean
harder.
and like and I have done books that way. Like I have done other books that way. That's how I pretty much wrote the first draft of I Wish I May, was just like, hey, let's feel this out and see what happens. And like my poor critique partners on that book, they were like, what are you doing? Why is she doing this?
Just vibing.
It was just vibing. It was literally coasting on vibes and like a wish. It was
It's
just
so fun though. Like sometimes it's so fun
thanks.
to write that way.
Yeah, it is. It is. Especially if you're like, just want to explore the story and like have no pressure on yourself, no deadlines or anything, that's totally the way to go. And, and I feel like my writing process has shifted and changed every time I've written like a short story, a novel, like it shifts and you learn what you like and what you don't like. And for me, I've tried to write out of order and I don't like it. I'm like, I can't do it. I wish I could, because there's sometimes when I think of things where I'm like, oh, that would make such a good scene. So what I do is I just, instead of writing that scene, whatever sparked that idea, if it's a bit of dialogue or something, I'll add it in a notebook or in my notes app, and I'm like, okay, I'll go back to that and maybe it'll make sense, or it won't when I actually get there. So,
Have you published any short stories?
published, no, but I have written quite a few. I do want to go through and like pick out some of my favorites and send them out to my newsletters to subscribers. I think that would be fun.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
they would love that. Do you have like a blog?
Yeah, I have a Substack. So I kind of use that, my Substack as like a blog slash newsletter hosting thing. I
Yeah.
know everyone's like, don't do that, but I'm like,
I
I
don't know how to do that. I use
yeah,
Flowdesk for my
okay,
newsletters.
yeah. I've been meaning to switch to something
Hi,
like,
Rosie.
hey, and I see my sister. Are you still here, Dree? I hope she's tuning in. Hi, Dree. She's awesome. Um, but yeah, so I've been meaning to switch to like a real like big girl. Okay, Drew's still here. Like a big girl newsletter thing, like so I can actually segment and do all the like the fancy marketing stuff, because Substack, you're just like sending out to everybody. And oh, thank you. Yes. I haven't even like shared a picture on Instagram, but we just built these huge bookshelves
Those are
in my library.
gorgeous.
Thank you. I really am a fan of the paint. It's River something. I don't remember what it was called. and and my children pulled the label off the can, so I have no way of
You'll
knowing
never
what.
know
I'll
now.
never know now what color the paint on the bookshelves is. But yeah, so I plan to, especially as I'm not publishing anything big, I really want to share short stories and snippets of what I'm writing on my Substack. So, but my Substack's
That,
on my link in my bio on my
oh,
page. If you
okay.
want to come follow me and
Yeah.
see what's
So
up.
go to Adelyn's Instagram, go to the link in her bio. You can get on her newsletter. You can also get her books on there.
Yes. Yes.
Is there anything else you have on there?
Um,
Newsletter, books?
no, I'm trying to keep it simple, especially for this season. So,
Yes.
so I do have my own little author store because, um, you know, I order books and go to these book events in person, but I feel like sometimes these events are so hit or miss, and you can order a ton of books. Like I ordered a bunch of hardcovers that I wish I may on somebody's, not yours, somebody's advice. um they were like, oh yeah, like hardcovers do really great at these in-person book events, and I'm like, I can't move these hardcovers, everybody wants paperbacks. And I'm like, usually because I'm like an unknown in the room and like no one knows who I am or I'm like, I'm an impulse buy usually for people who are coming to like big Ohio Book Con or things like that. Like they see my table, they see my cover, and they're like, who is this? Like, I like this cover, I like your pitch. And they're like, oh, I need to read this book. So it's usually not, I'm usually not someone they're there to see, but I'm like, I can usually like sell and pitch the book. And they're like, oh, yeah, I need this. And so I'm
I
like,
feel like I feel like since your cover is so beautiful, like people see it and they're like, I want to know more.
yes. Yeah. I was like, and it took a ton. I it was a lot harder designing my own cover than I thought it was going to be, because I thought, oh, I just need something pretty that looks like fantasy. And it was like, no, like the amount of research. And I really got a lot of feedback from other indie authors who kind of told me like, oh, you got to find all the other cozy fantasy books and like pick all, they were like, pick all the covers that match your genre, put them in an image all together, and then put your cover next to it, and if it fits, if it kind of blends in with the other indie book covers, then you've got a good cover. And I was like, oh, mine didn't look anything like any other indie published cozy fantasy. This was my original cover. She's beautiful and I was really attached to her, but I was like, oh, I have to be a little bit ruthless when it comes to the marketing if I'm going to succeed at all as an indie author. Like I can't be attached to this cover even though I love it. I was like, you know what? I've got to do do what the marketing says, and it really was. And so my poor husband, I took this cover. This was the first one I did. And I was like, "Do you like this color palette or this color palette or this color palette?" And I was like, hun. And he was like, which one's the best one? And he's like, they're all pretty. I'm like, no, no, no. I need to know the best one. And so I sent him like all these graphics with like my book cover lined up next to all these other book covers. I'm like, do you like the light blue with the dark text, or do you like the dark blue with the light text? And he's like, poor guy.
Honestly
He was
though,
like, they're all
that's
great.
brilliant because my cover designer, he told me, he said take this cover draft and put it on your phone, and then take your phone to a bookstore like Books a Million or wherever you want to go.
Uh-oh. Are you there?
About that,
Oh,
my
oh.
screen time limit went off. It was
Mm,
like, you've been on too long.
yep.
um
Yeah,
but
remember when we talked about being present?
yeah. I was like, ignore for today. That's
Ignore.
fine. But he told me, he said, take your phone, put it
Hmm.
on the bookshelf in your section, like the young adult section, and then stand back and see if for one it looks like it belongs there. And
Hmm.
then also if it stands out enough that
Hmm.
people can notice it. And like before I actually did it, that advice sounded so kind of like contradictory, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like until I actually did it, and then I was like, oh, like it looks like it belongs there, and it does stand out because
Yeah.
I've been noticing like there are different trends like with the colors like of the covers and stuff. So you really have to make sure that like you're not choosing like the same colors like everybody else
Yeah.
and stuff. So that is actually very good advice, like putting it next to all the different things like that.
Yeah, like I know it, especially like it has to fit in, but it also needs to stand out. Like I went through Target recently and went through like the fantasy section of Target, and like the sheer amount, it was just like a wall of those romanticy book covers where it's all flowers and daggers and dark covers and swirls of smoke. And I was like, how is anyone supposed to find a book cover? They all look the same. And I'm like, I mean, I get it really does signal like, hey, this is a romantasy, and usually romantasy readers are going to pick up anything romantasy. And so I was like, okay, like that makes sense. But I have a friend who just designed a romantasy book cover, and she had these beautiful like I just did a cover reveal on my page, and it looks so beautiful. But she had these bright swirls of silk in it, and I was like, finally, like a romantasy cover that isn't just so dark and heavy looking, but yeah, so cover design, especially if you're going to do it yourself, like you have to get so much feedback from indie authors or from people who have designed their own covers. Like it really helps to have like a focus group to, look at it and just be like, hey, are you too close to this? Have you been staring at it too long? Does this actually look like a YA cozy contemporary fairy tale or whatever,
I
you
mean,
know?
honestly, like I'm still like, I know I keep saying it, but I'm blown away that you design, like you did these yourself, because like I hired somebody through
Yeah.
Readsy to
Hmm.
make mine, and I was like giving him ideas, and he was like, no.
No.
I mean, he was really nice about it, but he was just like,
Yeah.
no.
No, then that's good. See, I wish I hadn't had this cover on my book for a year before I realized I was like, this isn't working, or had a graphic designer. Like I have a bit of graphic design in my background just because I was in marketing and I was always working for small nonprofit or small companies. Like I was working for a church, I worked for a little tiny book publisher, I worked for a little tiny magazine. So I always have had a little bit of graphic design going on at all times. And so I was like, oh, I'm a graphic designer. I know
Yeah.
everything. But I was like, but stepping into book covers, book cover graphic designers is such a specialized field, and they know what they are doing. And I was like, and they like there is so much that goes into book cover design that if you have it, if you're stepping into that area and you're going to design your cover yourself, I mean, like do your research. There's and unless you want to
Couldn't
have
be
to
me.
recover your book, unless you want to be me and you want to have to recover your book, and then this one is like still, this is probably what you'll see if you go on Goodreads to review I Wish I May. So
I feel like, yes, I feel like that is what's on there.
yes,
I do have a question, and
sure,
it's like just a random question. Would
sure.
would you ever be open to like commissions?
Oh yeah. I do commission work, especially for what I do since I, am self-publishing and really still getting the ball rolling in terms of things like like my first book was not a smash success where it was really starting to pay for book two. I pretty much broke even on my costs of book one. And so what I do is I'll do commissions, but I will also do trade. Like, so for Starlight Star Bright, like I hired a bunch of editors and proofreaders, but I was like, hey, I did pay my I paid my line editor because I had that in my budget. And then I traded my proofreaders. So I said, hey, whatever you would charge me for a proofread, I will do that in artwork for you. So that's one thing that I'll do is like I will trade my skills. I will barter economy my way into some professional
I love
services.
that. I
Yeah.
love that. I
Yeah.
do that sometimes with the lady that does my sprayed edges.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I mean, not that I don't draw anything. It was just she sells my books at events sometimes and
Oh,
stuff, like
nice.
blind date with a book and stuff. So that was really exciting for me when I was like, it's like free kind of
Right.
in my
Yes.
mind.
Yeah. Yeah, so like if you're like you do hair or nails or like anything you have, and you can find like someone like if you do like a service like that and you're like, or do photography or like can do like flat lay photography of books, or it's so great. Like the indie author community, like we are always all our budget is always really tight, and we're usually always wearing multiple hats and have multiple talents. And so I think there are so many people like the first person I saw do this was a wedding photographer. She's like, "Hey, I will trade wedding photography for tattoos." And I was like, I'm wondering what I could trade for editing or proofreading, like, or something like that. And so I was
I'm
like,
trying to think if I have any other skills. Oh my
any
god.
other skills? Yeah. Yeah. So I was just like, so yeah, so I do take commissions. And there is
Okay.
commission info on my on my page. So if you do want to commission me for character art, or I also do the little chapter headers, which here I'll show you in a second.
Oh my goodness.
So,
Like in your book.
yeah, and the chapter headers. And this is really the line work, like the ink work. I really like doing this kind of stuff.
That's
That's
so beautiful.
it's really fun for me. And I was like, I would love to do more stuff like this. I mean, I do like the full rendering artwork. Wait, and then there's a scene in Starlight Starbright where there's a magical salamander in a teacup. I don't know if we can see him, but yeah, there he is. He's a little magical salamander in a teacup. And I was like, I love that. Um, yeah, so but yeah, I do love art. And there are times when I'm like, I'm working on art when I probably should be writing. Um, yeah.
I think
So
like your talents go so beautifully together though. So
thank you.
honestly, like just very, very good.
Thank you.
We do have a reader question.
Yeah.
Kendall asks, what struggles do you have when writing and how do you overcome them?
Struggles. I feel like my biggest struggle with writing um is like sitting down, finding time to turn off my brain from other things. Um, so I will generally set like a routine. Like if I'm writing a book, like I will really get into a routine and not like a rigorous like schedule of like when I do it. And it usually is around the same time of day. But just getting my brain to check out of everything else that's going on in my life, all the mom mode, all of everything else, all of the housework. So I'll usually sit down, usually in the dark with all the lights off, so I can't see the mess around me. Um, I will
Brilliant.
I'll turn on white noise so I can't hear anything. Like that's it, no music anymore. Like I used to be able to write to music when it was just like jamming out to writing stuff, but now I need to like really focus in. So yeah, my biggest struggle is just getting to click in when I'm like, I need to get words down. So there are times, and I'm like, I will just turn up my phone onto like airplane mode and just write in Scrivener with like absolutely nothing else up, no researching, especially writing I'll occasionally write historical stuff. I'll be like, what would this specific kind of thing? And I'm like, no, not until the end when I go back and edit am I allowed to research that thing that I was not sure if I used the right
Because you would
term.
go down like a rabbit hole.
Yes. And then I'm like, and then I'm on these Regency blogs, like reading about like Regency gowns and getting down like a rabbit trail of like, what kind of medicine would they use to treat a headache, yada, 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 and that sort of thing. And I'm like, okay, stop. So yeah, that essentially is just, that's kind of my biggest struggle is tuning everything out. And it's usually like a routine, like our brains really thrive when we do the same thing. So I always write with coffee. So that's one of the things that triggers my brain, like, hey, it's writing time, it's idea time, it's like let's start churning out ideas. So anytime I write, especially if I'm going to write in the evening, I'm usually a morning writer, but I'm switching to evenings, so I switch to decaf, and so I still make that cup of coffee, not because I need the caffeine, but because that coffee smell, the warm mug, like triggers my brain now to be like, let's write. And so like
Yeah.
even if like I'm drinking coffee and I'm not writing, that my brain, I'll realize, starts going and it starts thinking of ideas. So like finding like cues that you do every time before you sit down to write, like white noise, the same spot, or if you can't have the same spot, like the same playlist, the same white noise, the same coffee, those sort of things can trigger your brain to say like, hey, it's writing time, because our brains really do thrive on routine, and not like like a rigorous schedule where you're like, a rigid schedule, I should say, like a rigid schedule where you're just like, I have to at 5 a.m. get up and do this and that. And it's like, okay, you can train your brain to get into writing mode with just a couple of cues if you just do them routinely.
I need to choose better cues because right now it's like candy.
Yeah.
It's nerds gummy clusters. And
Oh,
I'm like,
nice.
I need to pick something else, like apple slices.
Apple slices. Yes. Yeah. I
uh,
know, like I had to like, it was funny, like in the questions that you sent me, like your preferred writing snack, like my preferred snack is like anything cheesy and powdery, but then I was getting like, then I like have to like keep wiping my hands so I can go back and type, and then I like stop typing just to like eat really fast,
I
so
know.
I'm not
See,
getting
that's the thing.
cheese everywhere.
It's like, oh, I got to eat my whole writing snack so I can actually write. And it's like,
Right.
why are you doing this?
Yes. So I usually eat my writing snack and with my coffee, usually popcorn, but popcorn and
See, that
coffee.
was a very important question to me. Like, I needed to know.
Yes. It's popcorn, which I even like I went and got some today because I was like, I really want my writing snack. And it's like not like good popcorn. Like I'm talking about that bright neon yellow, like carnival popcorn, like in the giant bag that you get like
And it just like
at
coats your
Meyer.
mouth.
No, what?
Is it like the mouth coating kind?
Yeah, it does kind of,
Leave a
have
film.
leaves a weird like it's cooked in so much like seed oil. I'm like, it's like the worst, unhealthiest popcorn ever. Like, and normally I'll pop my own popcorn and like do it all fancy and all that. But I'm like, so every now and then I'm like, I want the
Just,
crappy popcorn.
I
I'm like,
want the
and
trash popcorn.
yes, the trash popcorn. And my husband's like, what do you mean trash popcorn? And I was like, the yellow. It's bright yellow. It's in a giant clear bag. And he's like, I think I know what you mean. And so I was like, yeah, um, gonna do that.
My
But
other writing snack is sour gummy worms.
ooh,
I
that's so
know.
good. I know I have such a bad sweet tooth. I really don't keep a lot of sweets in the house, or else I would just be eating sweets all the time.
So I usually don't, but whenever we go to like this one, there's like it's the Weirton Book Company. We go there and they have,
Mhm.
it's like a candy shop and an ice cream shop and a book shop all
Oh,
together,
my
which is
favorite.
like my kryptonite. So obviously I have to buy a book, I have to get ice cream, and I have to get candy.
Yeah, obviously.
So that's, yeah, and it's in my desk. Nobody
Yeah.
knows
Oh,
about
no, yes. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, like, there's always like the kids' snacks that are like that they
it.
know about, and then there's always the good stuff where my
Yeah.
husband and I will, if we have candy, like it's always like squirreled away up really high. And like, it's like this one cupboard. And I swear my daughter has like supersonic hearing, and like she can hear when we open that cupboard. She's like, why are you going in there? What's in there? And we're like, nothing, nothing. Just rifling through the old water bottles. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Story about every time that we leave the room, she like follows and she like goes right to the pantry and she's like, I need in here.
I need,
And I'm like, you do? And she's like, I need it.
I
I
need it.
need it. And I was like, okay, well,
How old is your daughter now?
she's two,
Oh,
2.5, but I'm
yeah,
ignoring that part.
yeah. My daughter's 1 and like 3/4. So like she's gonna be 2 in October. And lately she is starting to have those like, I don't know, she's doing everything so fast. I think it's like a second born thing, but she's lately been having, we call her, what we call it when she's a spicy pickle, or she's being a pickle when she's being a little sour. And then as she gets more and more, sour, she becomes a spicy pickle. And then when she's like really in her feelings, we call her a spicy pickled jalapeno. And we're like,
Oh,
because yeah, so today she was definitely a spicy pickled jalapeno. And I was like, she was just having a meltdown, and I couldn't figure out what she wanted because she only has like 3 emotes that she could do. And I was like, And I was like, oh my goodness, why are you acting like a 2-year-old? You're not a 2-year-old. It's just, yeah.
Yeah, Storybell's been.
Hmm.
We just got her a tablet. I know that's probably bad. But we didn't because I got her a subscription to Hooked on Phonics because I'm like, I
Oh,
have to get her ready for preschool because I don't know, I just feel like I need to. And then I was like, well, what is she going to do Hooked on Phonics on my phone?
mhm. Yeah.
I'm just going to give her my phone.
Yeah.
And I did for a little bit, but then I was like, I need my phone back.
I need it back. Yeah, we do like very limited tablet. I did there's a reading.com app, which is like Hooked on Phonics. It's I fell for the Instagram ad and I was like, let's try this. And she likes to play that. Like the reading.com. It's like, oh, it's
Is it free?
no, it's
Oh,
not.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, go with the free thing.
Well,
And
Hooked
then
on Phonics is not free
yeah. Yeah, if you pay for
either.
something else, don't pay for something else. But then my daughter always wants to draw and procreate. She's like, "Can I draw on your tablet?" And like me. And I'm like, "Oh, yeah. Yeah, for a little bit." But then she gets frustrated because it's not really child friendly. And she's like,
No, it's not even
like,
me friendly. I tried.
"Yeah,
I
you did such a
I
good
tried.
job. You did.
No.
You gotta start somewhere. Like you do. Like like
In the
let's pull up my
basement.
worst. Let's pull up my worst. Let's scroll back on Procreate to like my first things. There's some like
I couldn't figure out how to, even though I felt like I was connecting things and closing stuff, like whenever I
oh,
went to like put the color in, there were
oh
still places that like it wasn't
yeah,
closed and I couldn't figure out, even I would zoom in, zoom in, zoom in. I couldn't figure out like where it was open. It
yeah.
drove me crazy.
Okay, here's a character for this is actually the character from the book I'm writing right now, but I've like redid it a whole bunch of times. I don't
So
know.
hold on. Is this what you're telling me isn't good?
I mean, this is a little the anatomy the anatomy is a little messed up. I
I'm
that's one of my oldest things, but I don't
I'm
know.
disgusted by your perfection.
Let me find wait. Okay. Oh wait, no, I found older stuff. Oh boy. Oh, these are rough.
Show me.
I will show you. Okay. All right. Wait, no, that one's okay.
I mean,
This one,
you can show me through message if
yeah, no,
if
no.
you don't
Okay,
want to
wait.
show it
Here's one.
online.
I don't know. This was like
That is still good. What?
these are like mostly finished, but they're the anatomy. I'm like, okay, these are all right. Then there's just a whole lot of like stuff like this where I was like, what was I doing? I was doing some flowers. I don't even know what this what this is.
Well, let me. Okay, wait. Let me show you mine. Do you see it? Did you see it? Are you frozen? Oh wait. Is it frozen? Hello, guys. Am I frozen? Oh wait, I'm not frozen. It's Adelyn, huh? Thank you for my stick figures. She would have thought that was hilarious, so I'm so sad that she's frozen. What is this? Oh, accept. Oh, add me back in. Okay. I'm trying to. Adelyn! I need you to comment on my stick figure, Adelyn. I'm adding you back in, but I don't see you. Hmm. Okay, while I'm waiting for Adelyn to come back in, because oh wait, hold on, that might be her. Accept. Okay, while I'm waiting for her to come back in, I'm going to plug her book again. So Starlight, Star Bright, you can enter to win Oh, it says unable to join. Hold on, let me. Okay, I invited you again, Adelyn. Let's see if that works. Okay, so Starlight So Bright, you can enter to win a signed copy. If you go to my profile, you can click on the pinned post, and the very last slide in that carousel is the directions on how to enter to win the signed copy. If you want to purchase a copy, you can go to Adelyn's Instagram. In her bio, she has a link that you can purchase a copy of Starlight So Bright and also I Wish I May. Um, requested. Let me back in. I'm a trying to. Here, I invited you because it didn't come up as a request. Unable to join. Should I end it and then here, let me try to end it and then do it again. Hi, it's me again. I am going to add Adelyn back in. Hopefully I can get her on here. Hi.
Hey,
Sorry
that
about
was
that.
my fault. That was all my fault. Like I just like my finger slipped and like hit the X in the top corner, and I was
Oh,
like,
that's okay.
yes,
That's okay. But I am gonna need you
yes,
to see mine just real
I
quick.
love it.
Okay, I just needed that validation. I
That
was going through all of the emotions.
well, yeah. Well, like I got my start out, like I would find a picture that I liked and then I would just trace over top of it. And
So
so,
that's what I tried to do. And then I tried to do the color stuff and I don't
yeah.
know. Question though, have you ever like recorded yourself um drawing like the whole thing?
I know Procreate saves like a time lapse of all my drawing like while it's happening. So
Oh,
like I can
cool.
have I have time lapses like all of them like you can see like where I start out like from the sketch, from the picture. Um Of course, it's kind of like sped up, so you can't really see sometimes where like my pen is um, on the drawing. So it's not really helpful as like a tutorial. It's but unless you're like an artist who's like, because I'll like sometimes watch time lapses. I'm like, how did they do this? What like layers did they start out with? So like if you're like an artist, you kind of can like see what's happening, um but
Mm.
yeah. I know. I really
I,
should, but I'm like,
I
I
feel like
just
this
like,
is gonna make me mad anyway. Like it doesn't. I don't know. Maybe at some point I'll try again, but I think
yeah.
I'm just like too much of a. I don't know. Just like easily annoyed with
Yeah.
things.
You're like, yeah, I wouldn't waste time on it if you're not like, I really want to do this. I really like doing it because it's something that I really truly love doing it. I mean, there are times when I'm frustrated. I'm like, I give up on this piece. So, um, but yeah, it just said you waved at me, and so I was like,
Oh, sorry. No.
it was like,
Okay.
yes.
A
It's not
few
for
more
their thing.
questions.
There's so many other things. Like if there are so many other talented artists out there. Like, yeah, like me, who was like, yeah, I'll trade this for that for the artwork. And so it's like, I mean, there's so much you can spend your time on, like write short stories or I don't
Yeah,
know,
I feel like
like,
what brings me the most joy is writing.
yeah,
So I
do
feel
that.
like I feel like I'm content with that. I am looking like I'm trying to look for um I don't know, like I've been asked several times now for like if I'm going to be doing character art for like Beneath Blackwood.
Hmm.
So I am like kind of like shopping a little bit and trying to figure out what kind of fits with the vibe of that and trying to like message some people and try to figure things out. I don't know if it's actually going to be something that happens because I don't know like quotes and stuff, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
that is something that like I was even excited that like multiple people have asked me about. I'm
Yeah.
like, is that something you would want? And they're like, and I'm like, cool. That's
Cool.
awesome.
Let's do it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so a couple more questions and then I'll let you go to sleep.
Yes. Yeah.
So what do you hope readers take away from Starlight Starbright?
Okay, so I wrote Tony in not like an autobiographical sense, but I really wanted to tap into that feeling of being newly launched into the world as a young woman and just the amount of pressure she puts on herself, and how uncomfortable she feels stepping into a bigger role for herself. And so my message is to young women is to, essentially like not necessarily be afraid, you know, or well, hang on, it's late. Let me phrase this how I think through this story. But is not be afraid to make mistakes as you're stepping out into new and bigger roles outside of being a student, outside of just being a daughter, outside of just being, a teenager, but like actually stepping into a professional role, into a more adult role where more is on the line. As you're starting to take on new responsibilities, like don't be so afraid of making mistakes, don't be so afraid of what people think of you, but like take your challenges like head on, be courageous, and go after the things that you want, but like as knowing when you make mistakes that you can correct them, you can go back and change things. And like I feel like for me, I made so many mistakes as a young person, and I just turned it inward and was like, oh, I'm terrible, I can't get this right, I can't get X, Y, and Z right. And so I turned it inward. And so this story is kind of about like her taking charge of like the things where she's gone wrong and taking responsibility in sort of a mature way. um but yeah, so it's kind of like, that uncomfortable feeling, and, just learning to like rely on the people around you in a way that I necessarily was like, oh, it's all on me, to make everything right, to be in my adult roles and stuff like that. And so, Tawny. I use it interchangeably in my head, unfortunately. But Tony, she's sort of struggling, and she thinks it's all on her. It's all on her to be perfect, to be this great fairy godmother. And it's like, we are stronger when we surround ourselves by people who love us and support us and who want our best and want to see us do well in all that we're doing. And so, just
That's
kind of
beautiful. I love
thank
that.
you. Thanks. Yeah, so that's kind of where that went. That's what I want people to take away.
Very good. Okay. I do have what's next for you, anything you can tease. I know you're working on a few things, but you did say also that you're taking a step back to be with your littles, which is also beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm very excited. It's very hard for me to turn off the author brain that's like, go, 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 do this next thing, do this, do that. You could do this, and then you could do that. And I'm like, no, no, no. Like, let's just keep things simple. So right now, I'm just really focusing on just being present with my girls, and then just my love of the craft. I've started like reinvesting instead of worrying so much about like, oh, I have to be doing, but I'm just like taking in and learning new things as I'm writing another book. And I'm like, wow, I wish I would have known this. I'm like, some of this stuff, I'm like, okay, I am doing some things right. And other things, I'm like, I wish I would have known this. Like, but just when you're in the throes of doing it all, like you kind of learning on the fly, you learn a few things, but I'm just kind of focusing on my craft and honing some things. But I'm working on right now, I'm writing a Jane Eyre retelling with dragons. So I've kind of pitched it as like, I've kind of written the description as um like it's Jane Eyre. Have you read Jane Eyre?
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
thank goodness.
yes.
Some people
Also,
I'm like,
wait, also is it is it the is it the bluest eye? Is that also there's something else. There's another thing that's like from the woman upstairs perspective. I also read
Maybe
that.
it could be. Yeah, I haven't read that one, but I do know there's lots of Jane Eyre retellings out there because it's crazy. It's such an amazing book. I just reread it last year as I was preparing to write this retelling because I was like, I really want to write this retelling. And it's amazing. It's one of the greatest books ever. And I'm like, maybe I shouldn't do retelling because this is so crazy. But there are things in Jane Eyre where I'm like, really, Jane? Like you married him, Jane? Like, you know. So it's a Jane Eyre retelling, but instead of a wife upstairs, Mr. Rochester is hiding dragons in the basement. So so there's no bigamy. And you know, I have tweaked a lot of things. So it's very much in there's scenes specifically that are very much inspired by Jane Eyre, but there's a lot of it that is kind of a cozy fantasy. So it's kind of like about, you know, these two characters like finding healing from their past wounds, and it's very character driven and a little bit of plot. There's dragons, of course, so there's going to be some mild peril and, you know,
Is it
some fun.
is it YA still?
I'm thinking it'll be I'm thinking it'll be adult. So I don't know if I'm going to publish it as Adelyn Belsterling or if I'm going to launch a pen name for it, but I'm kind of just going to probably publish it under Adelyn Belsterling. So I don't know. I don't know if that's wise or not, but
I mean,
I'll cross that road.
it's still a cozy fantasy, so it
Yeah.
still aligns.
Yes. Yeah. It's cozy, but the characters are going to be fully grown adults. So yeah, because yeah, I tend to think of like YA as like I really ideally want parents to be buying it for their kids. I know a lot of parents, a lot of women pick it up just because they're like, I love coming of age, and they're like, yeah, this is cool. So you know, really, YA is such a weird category to be in. Um,
Yeah.
you know, because like so many people who like are buying YA are adults and they're reading it themselves, and then teens don't have any money to spend, and they're like,
Yeah.
you know, I can't buy anything, and so yeah.
Yeah, so I'm working on something right now, and I mean, I it was something I started and then came back to, and it's like college age, so like that would probably be
Mhm.
new adult, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know,
I
but
don't know either.
yeah,
It's
it's
very strange.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so a few other quick fire ones. Are you ready?
Sure. Yes.
Okay, coffee or tea,
Coffee.
plotter or pantser,
Plotter.
favorite writing snack,
Popcorn.
favorite place to write.
My office here with all my books
It's so pretty.
in my green chair. My green chair. Everyone
Hey,
hates.
what color paint is that bookshelf? That's so pretty.
It's like a tealy blue.
Perfect.
Teal vintage teal blue. Don't know. Riverway something.
Yes. Morning or night writer?
Um, I'm gonna say ideal time is middle of the morning, walking with my kids, dictating on my phone is my favorite time to write.
Oh,
Yes. In the summer, it's life changing.
nice.
That's the only way I got Starlight Starbreak done.
See, I never think to do that.
Do it.
Oh, yes.
I'll send you the app that I use. It's great.
Thank
Um,
you.
yes. I don't remember what it's called, and I'm scared to go and look up what it is because I'll get kicked
Yeah,
out
don't leave.
again.
Don't
I'm
leave.
not
Don't
gonna
leave
leave.
me. Okay, so
Yeah.
closing question, and then I'm
Yes.
gonna just plug your book a little bit
Okay.
more. So,
Sounds good.
if readers could remember one thing about you or your books, what would you want it to be?
About me or my books. Well, it's that, you know, sometimes life gets hard and it's difficult and we feel in over our head, but there are always hope. There is always hope. There's always hope for a better future. We can take action and we can take responsibility for our immediate impact on the world around us and make the world a better place. So, yeah,
That
wherever
was
we go.
lovely.
Wherever you go, you can spread a little light and goodness wherever you go. So
Very good.
that's the truth.
Okay, so thank you, Adelyn, for
Thank
joining me tonight on
you.
our very first Blackwood book chat. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Um, Again, my hope is that this can be a space for indie authors to connect with one another, but also for new readers to find some amazing authors with amazing books. Um, Also, if you haven't already, please grab a copy of Starlight Starbright from Adelyn's Instagram link in her bio. You can go there and get I Wish I May, and then you can also get Starlight Starbright. We're also running a giveaway right now, so you can get a free signed copy. So go to my Instagram, Courtney and Johnson Writes. The pin post with the carousel, the very last slide, gives you directions to enter to win a free signed copy. So please go visit that. Make sure that you follow Adelyn on Instagram and check out her newsletter and things like that. But thank you, Adelyn.
Thank you. This was great. Sorry I disappeared for a little
No,
bit,
you're
but
okay. I'm just glad that you finally got to see this.
yes, this is beautiful.
That's really what matters.
So is that the main character in Blackwood?
Yes. Wait,
Or
hold
well,
on.
oh
Hold
wait.
on. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Willow. Okay.
Oh
Well,
my
thank
goodness.
you. Thank you for talking to me.
Yes, thank
I
you so
appreciate this.
much. Yes.
Yes, of course. All right.
All
Have a good
right.
night. Bye.
Bye. Good night.